Hello all and welcome to a Friday afternoon beer review. Going to be slowly working our way through the entire catalog of Westmalle Abbey, the Trappist beers there. I just went, a couple weeks ago a couple weeks ago I went to Bottleheads, got the three beers, and I'm just kind of slowly drinking my way through them, enjoying my way through them. And it's Friday, so that's day I go and drink alcohol. So, what are we reviewing today? We're going to be reviewing Westmalle's Dubbel. And I'm going to dub this particular review I did a whole bunch of cleaning reviews, so I'm very proud of myself. I don't know how else to put it, I guess. Anyways, I might have left this one out to warm up a little bit too long. I put it out like 20 minutes, half an hour ago. It's now 4:50. Going to be using the goblet as per the course. And without further ado, let's just get straight into this. Because it's been a long week and I want a beer. I'm going to start pouring gently so I can get a sense of how much head this is going to put off. Oh, quite a bit. Okay. Okay, don't want those dregs. There we go. Poured it all out. Got a little bit on my pants. Okay. So, sort of medium brown with ruby highlights where the light passes through. And a thick, fluffy beige head. Oh my. Brown bread. Figs. Dates. Nuttiness. Nutty brown bread. Should have poured it a little bit more vigorously. Maybe hints of dried apricot. Sweet malts. Had dissipated fairly quickly. I probably should have given it a little bit more of a vigorous pour. Okay, onto the palate now, shall we? This is 7.0 ABV, by the way. No real verbiage on the back. There's some nice art here. Interesting. Despite the fact it didn't form much of a head, there's quite a bit of carbonation on the palate. Very carbonated for a 7.0 beer. Nice chewy mouthfeel. Up front, there's some nuttiness behind that carbonation bite. It doesn't bite too hard. It's more of a gentle fizziness. Some fruit-like notes, dried fruit-like notes emerge in the mids. Almost figgy. Very fig-like in the mid to finish. Like Fig Newtons. Evocative of Fig Newtons. If Fig Newtons were made with like a darker bread crumble. Carbonation is so intense, it's actually interfering with the tasting a little bit. I really should have given it a far more vigorous pour. I'm going to go ahead and shake it up a little bit, see if I can push up some of the trapped carbon dioxide here. Because while it's on my tongue, it's sort of acting as an origin point for the bubbles, so it's kind of carbonating off of my tongue, and that's blocking a lot of the flavor, the palate flavor. Very subtle booziness to it, very subtle, and it's more evocative of like a tawny port. If tawny ports had bittering hops that emerge in the finish. Honestly, I would say that the bouquet is far more expressive than the actual palate tasting. It's very much dominated by the nuttiness in the palate, all around the mids there, and the fruit kind of takes a secondary side note there. Dried fruit, I should say. It's fairly restrained in its sweetness for the style. Yeah. The hoppiness is quite strong in the finish, and what I mean is, of course, the bittering hops. It doesn't have any dimensionality to it in the bouquet. A little bit went down the wrong pipe there. Yeah. So a lot of nuttiness, you know, that comes in the front. Also evocative of baked brown bread, but more nuttiness. If this had more sweetness to it, it would definitely be far more evocative of tawny port. But like I said, the bouquet was far more expressive um, than the actual on palate note is. I also should note that there really isn't, and now I'm starting to get my histamine reaction. I wonder if, since I'm going to drink less beer, if I'm going to get this with every beer now. One thing I should note is that there really isn't all that much presence of the Belgian yeasts there. They're kind of there up front if you're, in the mindset of looking for it. And it sort of subtly colors the rest of the beer, but you're not having a lot of banana or clove-like notes. More, maybe a bit more of the clove-like notes, but definitely not banana, bubblegum, or anything like that. So the actual Belgian yeast is fairly restrained. And let's see here, do they actually have the... No, they don't say what kind of yeast is used. Of course they wouldn't. Yeast shows up more in the bouquet there. You definitely get some of that sort of phenolic funk up front in the bouquet, now that I'm looking for it. But overall, kind of follows the pattern, rest of the patterns of this beer. So what can we say about this beer? Well, there's nothing objectionable about it. I would say it's not my favorite double, but I'm not going to turn it down either. It doesn't have like the complexity of some of the others that I've tried. Though it is satisfying. It is scratching that itch for a nice good beer right now. And yes, like all the Trappist ales, they are all beers that you will stop along on your beer journey, as it were. Because, I mean, it is a classic style, and all the makers are classic brewers. And yeah, give it a shot. Even if I'm not blown away by it, it's still a pretty solid beer. Oh, there's many a slip betwixt the tongue and the lip, once you have had a sip. And that, folks, is your beer review for this Friday afternoon. Cheers.